guys, welcome back to our channel. Stop it!
Alright guys, take 5. Literally. God, can we get on with the freaking video?
Ready? Go. Hey guys, welcome back to our video. Our channel.
Yeah, our channel.
This is our second video.
This is
supposed to be our third.
Fifth time recording.
This is literally like the third take.
If you didn't see our last video, we kind of introduced ourselves and a little bit about what our channel is going to be about. I mean, at least to start. We are polygamous.
We grew up polygamous.
We grew up with
we
polygamous
are not
parents.
polygamous.
Wait, what?
Stop it.
Okay, so we wanted to go into a little bit more detail in this video, just on a couple of different topics. Starting with our church.
A religion?
Religion. Yeah, I honestly don't really know what to call our religion.
I think our dad always told us to call it
Christianity.
Christian.
Yeah.
Christian.
Christianity.
Yeah.
So how they would start was we'd all come together
In the living room at one of the houses. And our dad would like lead the meeting, and it was kind of set up like the LDS church in a way. When we first started,
Like the format of the
yeah,
church.
and we would branch off to like little like groups too. Like all the older kids would stay with our dad, and like the moms, and then
kind of like primary children.
yeah, we would branch off to primary children's, and then like teens.
What's that called? What would we do? What's it called with the women? I mean, the teenage girls.
What?
Yes, church.
What are you talking about?
Young women's.
Oh my! No, because there were boys there too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
The classes weren't.
Never mind. They weren't completely like that.
But he would do like so 2 different classes. So we'd all start together. We'd pick a song that everybody wants to sing that we all agreed on, or sometimes it was just one person wanted to do that one. But we'd start out with like a prayer. We'd sing a song, and then I think we did a lesson as a group. I don't quite remember. I want to say we did like something all together.
Honestly,
Yeah.
for the beginning prayers, I would literally try to hide. Like, Dad's over there. I'd be like,
I don't think he would
Don't
call
pick me.
someone
Don't
to
pick
say
me.
I would
it.
like avoid eye contact.
I know. I'd be like, I would pretend I was like doing something, like, oh, like what's going on here? Like look busy so he wouldn't ask me.
I was always fine volunteering. I always thought like if I volunteer this time, he won't expect me to do it for like 3 weeks probably.
I never knew what to say. I thought I was so dumb at it. Like I'd be like, thank you for the grass. Like I
What
didn't
the-
know what to say, so I never wanted to do it. And
Oh
I would
my
get so
God.
nervous too. I don't know.
Poor child.
I think we're all poor childs. So.
But anyway, so yeah, he would lead the lessons every time. And then I think at the beginning when we first started, actually did he do that ever since the very beginning?
Yeah, and then
Just when we started living together, because we were all together.
Did the first wife go to church at the very beginning? Do you guys know?
No.
So yeah, our dad would do the main lessons, and then he would have us all take turns reading either the Book of Mormon or the Bible. Don't know which one we would read every day.
I feel like it was
And-
No, we did both. So
It
we
was-
always did a reading out of the Bible and a reading out of the Book of Mormon, and it was consecutive. So it's like we started on certain stories, and we'd follow those each church, and then he'd kind of do a recap at the beginning, like, okay, let's go over what happened last time, and he'd have notes. I think even he'd have one of the moms every single lesson church. They'd have to take notes of what we went over and where we're at and stuff, and we'd kind of go over those notes and then continue on with the readings.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then he always assigned one or two older kids to do a lesson in the big group, and then the kids would go off and kind of, I think a lot of times they'd watch a cartoon religious movie
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
with treats.
I did do that a lot.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. But just for like example, some of the stuff that our dad would go over in the church, it was like, sometimes it was very random. Like once he
Like
went
the
over
end of the
Bigfoot,
world.
yeah. Once he went over Bigfoot and all of the research behind how there's still Bigfoot in the mountains.
You went over
I was like
aliens.
8 years old, and he was talking about the end of the world.
Yeah.
Didn't sleep that night. Was terrified.
Well, you know
I
what's
remember
crazy?
after he went over the aliens, I started to really be scared
Me
that I was
too.
going to get abducted.
Okay, whoa, not me. No, I would just think like, whoa, because he talked about, you guys remember him talking about that there's a wall somewhere, and if if you pass through the wall, like that's where they are, and the government was hiding that part of the world, but nobody goes to it.
I don't know.
He said that specifically about aliens and shit, and that's where they
Like
the
the
UFOs
road
would
to El
come
Dorado.
from.
Goodness gracious.
Road to El Dorado.
I don't know, but I just remember him talking about that, and I'm like, oh
be
my
in your
god,
head
they're
a little
hiding.
bit.
No, he didn't.
We weren't dreaming.
Because I remember he brought up, there were some YouTube videos, I think, where women were they would go missing for a couple of years, and when they came back, they had no memory, and there was like medical things done where they could see that they had a baby in those years that they were missing, but they had no recollection of it. And so our dad was saying the aliens were taking women, impregnating them, taking the baby and putting us back. And so, and he brought up some sort of research to show that it was true and that you need to, believe in this different stuff. And I just remember being so freaking terrified every single night that I was going to get abducted.
Well, he's telling it, you're like... No, but how would the kid look normal if they... Like, or do aliens look just like us?
Well, I think the alien would keep the kid.
Oh.
And the wife...
No, she said they'd come back pregnant.
Yeah, so
they'd come
back and they'd do medical stuff and they'd realize that they had a baby in the amount of time that they were missing.
Yeah.
Oh my
but they didn't know where it was or anything. It was like the person had no memory. I don't know if that's true or not. That was YouTube.
That's just one thing he talked about.
Yeah.
But we mostly went over the scriptures.
Yeah, as time went on, like, we stopped doing we would stop separating into little groups. Like, we all just stayed together. And that's like kind of how it ended too. We just had one meeting the whole time.
Or once in a while he would say we have to do a fast one today because we're going camping or something. So it would be like, rather than going from like 11 to 1, it would be like 1 hour and everybody would just do a lesson together because it was quicker, and it would just be like maybe not as much Bible-y, more of just like somebody has a presentation that they prepared and there was just like a concept behind their presentation.
And once in a while we would do little activities like singing competitions.
Oh yeah.
Talent shows is what we
I remember me and wife number one's daughter, that's my same age. We were against Shauna.
Me and one of the other girls.
Yeah. And it was our turn. Shauna and the other girl did really good.
We did this little dance routine and everything.
We like sing while we dance.
Yeah.
And so me and
the other girl
started doing it, and I have never been good in front of people, like ever. And so it was my turn to sing, so I started singing whatever, and then it was my turn again, and I sang the same verse that I did. Girl, I was doing with our sister stopped and was like, I'm not singing with you ever again, and like threw this big thing, and I was like just standing there.
I think she said something like, I should have known Shauna.
But I know she was I was just like, I'm so sorry.
But I've never been...
I remember at the end
She never did one with me after that.
I think a lot of the times we would do those because we weren't, we didn't have a lot of TV, like we didn't have direct TV or anything like that, so anytime we were bored, the parents were like, well, go outside and find something to do, like go make a dance or go sing or, go do something in the field.
Our dad didn't really, not believe in, but he did not like us watching TV at all.
Which I feel like is kind of good in some ways.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember we finally were able to get Netflix on our main TV because we got a Wii finally, and so the Wii had Netflix, so we were finally able to start watching Netflix on the TV. But when anytime we'd hear the 4-wheeler coming up from the house down below, we'd all be like, turn it off, scatter, and we'd run.
We'd
just run.
No evidence pounding out of our chest.
No evidence that we were here.
Literally.
Not
Fix
quite
the
that
pillow.
dramatic. But it's just because a lot of the times when our dad did come up, he would just, and he saw us watching a movie, he'd be like, so what are you guys watching? What are you learning from this? What's the lesson
We always
behind
have
the
a
movie?
lesson for everything.
Yeah, and we were like, we don't know. We're just watching a movie.
It's literally Princess and the Pauper. Like what?
What was that?
It's a Barbie movie. But like, it's like, what am I learning?
Yeah.
Well, that was his point. You need to learn from everything.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there was some unfairness between the different wives' kids because we would we had a big farm. We had a lot of land with our house. On Saturdays we would have to pick weeds for our little farm that we had and our garden.
The garden. Yeah.
And our dad would come wake us up. I honestly don't remember that. I thought mom would wake us up.
He
would
would
wake
like
us up.
6 a.m.
He might have only woke me up sometimes and said, "Get the kids up, let's go out there."
Yeah.
So I just remember him waking me up a lot of the time. I don't know. if he
I always woke up from him or mom coming in. You were a heavy sleeper. I've always been a light sleeper, but you
Yeah,
were
me
very
too.
heavy sleepy.
But yeah, we would get there really early in the morning, Dawn's kids, our mom, and we'd be out there for a while, and then all of a sudden we see wife number one's kids coming out, and we're like, what the heck, we've been out here forever.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
2 hours or an hour, and we were like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me, like how come we are putting in so much more work than them?" And they would get to leave at the same time, so we literally felt like this is not fair. Like,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Well, and that would happen with church too. Like some of the kids would show up after us, and they didn't get any penalty. Like, no,
Yeah.
what did you learn? What have we been talking about? Like,
Yeah.
Whereas our mom always made sure that we were on time, that we did exactly what dad wanted us to. And I think that's just because like our mom really wanted to please our dad. And
Well,
so
also,
she
I
made
think-
sure that we did what he expected. Whereas the other mom, I think she just told them and then didn't like follow up. Ours was like, "Guys, get up." If we didn't get up, comes back to him and said, "Hey, I told you to get up. Let's go. Come on."
Yeah.
that makes us who we are today, though.
Yeah, like we have the best work ethic ever.
Yeah.
I'm not even
The
kidding.
other mom probably sees it. The other mom's kids probably see it different. Like I'm sure they love their mom and they think she was better than the other one and whatnot. Like we're a little bit biased because that was our mom, and we think we turned out great.
Yeah, like we didn't feel like we had like 2 moms. We had our mom, and then
Yeah,
wife number
some
1 was
people-
like a lady.
Yeah, some people would think
Yeah.
that's like your stepmom, but I didn't feel she was
Yeah.
my mom at all.
Me
Yeah,
It was
just like wife number 1.
Some random lady.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe
Like,
a
who is
little
this?
more than random. Okay.
Oh my gosh,
We know we're
okay.
a little.
No, she was the mom of
We
our
grew up with
sisters.
her.
She was just the mom of my sisters to me, or like the mom of my half
Yeah.
siblings.
But and then we would also, when we went to parks and stuff, that would be our reward for if you're being good. I think did mom start with just us, and then and then as it kept going, then dad would realize like, okay, you guys are going to the park and the other kids aren't.
Well, the other kids would say it's not fair. They got to go
Yeah.
to the park. But we always thought it's not fair. You guys get to eat junk food.
Yeah,
and we
pizza.
don't. Yeah,
we never got Little Caesars.
I honestly
Yeah.
never thought of that. I was just like, ooh, mom's food's great. I'm loving this.
What's kind of funny is that I was talking to one of the other wife's kids, like literally like
sister?
last year or something, and I was telling them, I was like, I was always so jealous of you guys because you always got like all this junk food or like like store bought food.
bread
Yeah, I was
or
like, flipped the
cereal
other
with
way.
And then
sugar.
and then who I was talking to was like, we were jealous of you because you guys always got home cooked meals, and so it was just it's kind of funny how we have like different
Yeah.
views.
And looking back, like I'm so grateful that mom cooked us meals. I think
Yeah.
it was just like you always want what you don't have or what you can't have. So when
Which
we
is
wanted
cool.
McDonald's or we wanted Little Caesars, but we didn't think about what we had and how that's actually better.
Yeah.
Well, it saved a lot of money too with mom.
Yeah,
doing
because
that.
she was a really good baker, cook. She even had to cook food for the other mom.
Do you think she had a
Yeah.
smaller budget than
Probably.
mom
I
wife?
mean, she has like half the kids.
Oh, that's true. That's kind of fair.
But with that kind of what I think that's partly that what led into the divorce was kind of like I think
Part
us
of the
seeing
reason?
us having that little bit of bias and thinking that maybe that it's not quite even with all the moms. Like it was much worse for the mom going through the unevenness or the unfairness that she's feeling with the other women.
I think you realize it even more as it keeps going.
Yeah.
Because she had wanted to divorce him for a while, she told us.
Yeah,
Like
she
when-
just stayed for the kids.
Yeah, she had told me it was for 6 years that she wanted to divorce.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's a really long time.
And like thinking about it, anytime we did group activities and stuff, like you never would see the parents have PDA or anything, and it's just because
No.
like there's 3 wives and it might make the other one jealous. So it was like if you did see a little bit of PDA, it was like maybe like a little bit of a side hug, maybe one little peck, and that's it.
Arm around it.
Yeah, they weren't ever like
I never
cuddling or
saw
sitting next to each other. It was always like the parents are scattered around.
Yeah.
the
It might have
room.
been good for the kids too, because then you don't see your dad like with your mom.
Well,
Yeah.
and when we would go to like when all of the moms and dad and all the kids would go out to like an activity or like sometimes we would all go to the movies. But wife number 1 would always be like perceived as our dad's wife, and then the other 2 were like the friends, and that was every time.
Yeah,
And
and that's
she
what
was wife number 1.
Yeah, that's what our mom said. But looking back on it, I never even if that was the case, I never saw wife number one like very clingy to him, or they still didn't do a ton of PDA, because I just think out of respect for the other two.
All I saw was like maybe dad's arm around her waist or
Honestly,
something.
now that I think of it, I saw the most between them than mom. Like at like Sunday lunches, wife number one would love up on him more than I saw mom would.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also wanted to talk about their divorce.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was kind of a
How that happened
kind of
was
different than normal divorces.
Well, they weren't legally married.
Yeah, so it was kind
Yeah.
of like a breakup, I guess.
Mhm.
Well, to them, a
A
divorce.
separation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and I guess I have a different story than them because I have the worst memory in the world.
You're really young. You're really young. You're really young.
No, I'm just kidding. But I just remember, like, Davina being really upset. And are you sure that you didn't freaking know? Because
I did not know. I thought Kirsten was throwing away my clothes in a trash bag, and I was like, what is she doing? And I started bawling.
Yeah, because our mom told her to
I
go
was about,
pack
like,
up our clothes.
8?
Yeah, no, I had met our stepdad Alan like a while before that, and I had like my mom kind of would lean on me because her husband's not really in the picture most days, and so being her oldest daughter, I was kind of her go-to for like how she's feeling, like with my mom and her, or my dad and her. And so she would come to me and say and let me know that she was planning to leave our dad like sometime. She was just kind of waiting for the right time, I guess.
How long did you know?
Yeah, probably like 6-ish months.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so I had met the stepdad, who's our stepdad now. But so that morning, I had a friend sleeping over, and it was like 5 or 6 a.m. Mom comes running in my room. She's like really upset, and she's like, "It has to happen today.
Tonight
I'm leaving
is
your
the night."
father."
Didn't you say they got in like a huge fight and then
She told me that they had gotten in a big fight, and he had just left her that night and said he was going to go spend the night and give another woman his
Imagine
time
how
then.
hard that would
And so
hurt.
to her, yeah, that's really hard. So she told me, she's like, it needs to happen today. I need to go to Idaho and leave your father. She's like, can you please pack the kids' bags?
And she comes
And
in.
so I grabbed a trash bag and I just started grabbing all the clothes I can see in their bedrooms.
And for some freaking reason, that wasn't even our clothes.
None of them fit.
They hoarder.
Like-
They hoarder stuff.
She hoarded stuff. She was a hoarder.
I-
God.
Maybe
For some
still
reason,
am.
it was like sheets and towels and like huge freaking
Apparently,
shirts in
I didn't
there.
grab the clothes. I grabbed
Which is
the-
weird because you literally went in our closet and started grabbing them. So I don't know
There
what
was
I
clothes
had.
on the floor. We had a ton of clothes on the floor.
Yeah,
Oh, I had clothes
in the
everywhere.
closet. I know. Freaking guys.
It was like Shauna's side of the room, spotless. Mine was like a mess all the
A
time.
mountain of stuff.
Under my bed, that's where I stuffed everything.
They would literally get me in tears sometimes.
Oh my gosh, this one time I was cleaning out from under my bed because I was forced to, and it got to a point where I literally
You
could not
needed
leave my
to?
room until I did it. I was moving stuff and there was a nest, so I started going in and there's a whole bunch of baby mice, like only a couple
Ew.
days old. And I was
Nasty?
like,
They're probably bald.
I don't,
You probably
yeah, they
liked
were
it.
bald.
Because you liked those.
I know, I kept them and then
Creatures.
they all died. But anyway,
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to take care of them, so anyway.
So after she packed all of our clothes, we headed to Idaho, and I didn't know where we were going. She didn't even tell me for a while. I was like, where the heck are we going? We went to talk about, like, and then I forget about it because I'm eating food. I was kind of a fatty. Anyway.
5 hours later, you're like, Mom. Yeah, because we drove out of state, so we drove to where our mom's family was.
It's like 6 hours.
Yeah. So I think the reason she had to get out of town was, I think that like she still loved our dad, but she knew that she needed to leave. Like it wasn't good for her anymore
It
mentally
would be
for
hard.
And
Yeah.
she couldn't like stay to talk to him to like go through the divorce because it would have been manipulative. Like she would have just stayed longer.
Not only
And
that,
when
but, like,
you
she
really-
loved him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you
so
really
it's
care
hard.
about somebody, you can't like you could probably be very
You're
convinced easily
yeah.
to stay. So she decided that was the way that she can do it.
You don't really have clear thoughts when they're standing right there, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what, how she divorced him was through an email. That's how I found out they were getting a divorce. Was because she's like, yeah, I'm sending your dad an email right now, and we're getting divorced. I was like, wow, okay. And actually, Alan, our stepdad, met us at Taco Bell for a little bit, and then the next night he drove up, and was like hanging out with us in Idaho. So it was just like, ding ding, the dad, and then our stepdad.
Which is kind of weird because our mom, like, I like knew, I don't know she told us like, hey, like this is my new guy or whatever, but I like knew they were together and that like he was gonna be my new dad. Like the day I found out mom was getting a divorce.
For some reason, I was really excited because we never had a real dad growing up.
And he was like, when we first met him, he was like super, I don't know, like dad-like, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like he really tried, maybe even overcompensated a bit to get to know us and whatnot.
Yeah, like we said in our last video with all of that, but
But our mom's family was not very happy when he came up there with us.
as any family wouldn't be.
Yeah.
They just wanted her to get through the divorce and then, look at that after.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But.
And then on our way home, or when we got home, our dad actually put a letter on all of our beds that was just kind of like an emotional letter stating he loves us and like a couple things other than that. And I just bawled because I swear I'd never felt that much emotion from my dad, and it was just a freaking letter.
Yeah. He probably definitely threw in some scriptures.
Yeah,
and letters.
I remember like a paragraph of that.
I remember in mine he said
Yeah.
something about how mom was just going through something and it was going to be okay.
Well, and I knew that was coming because do you guys remember when we came home? Or was that when we came home that we had that big thing with dad and you ran off and he was trying to take your phone away?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that
was after we came home?
It was
Okay.
after the divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think dad saw it coming.
Probably
The
not.
divorce. Not at
He
all.
was oblivious.
Yeah.
He just, one wife was mad, he went to the other one.
Yeah.
So that was the end of the divorce. She sent him the email and that was really it. I don't even, did they ever talk again? I don't even know.
Yeah,
Well,
there was a lot of stuff that actually happened that my mom told me about. Like one of them being, she had got a job finally, and it took her a long time because she didn't have a GED. She doesn't have a high school diploma because she was homeschooled as well, just like we were for a few years. And so she finally gets a job, and she's so excited. She goes to go leave, and our dad had parked a big truck behind her to block her in.
No way.
And, and he told her like she
this.
needs to cooperate with him, or he's not gonna let her leave.
Oh heck.
Eventually, I think she was able to maneuver the car, so she just drove in the field and left still. But there are a couple instances like that where it was like really hard for my mom to stick with what she knew was right and to push through. So yeah, but
No, seriously. Our mom's the same. But anyway, if we want to get into how our mom and our stepdad met, tune in next time. Very juicy. You're never gonna guess it. So,
and we want to pull some strings to tell you guys about this because it's kind of intense. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, if you have any questions, leave them below
in the
I
comments.
guess. Like, subscribe.
Yeah,
That's
subscribe
so
to our
weird to
channel.
say.
Turn our notifications on.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, thanks for watching,
Bye,
guys. We'll see ya.
Bye.
Be quiet. Stop talking to me.